The central question for us today is this: how does your choice of platform affect your ability to see returns from enterprise AI initiatives? This presentation will provide an analysis of the enterprise AI platform landscape. We will argue that the choice of platform is not merely technical, but a fundamental strategic decision. The wrong choice, often made in the name of speed, introduces material risks and stalls progress. The right choice provides necessary governance fabric to deliver real P&L impact safely. Let's begin by framing the two distinct paths an enterprise can take. Fundamentally, every AI initiative faces this strategic fork in the road. On one side, you have a managed ecosystem of the hyperscalers. These are platforms like Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. These are integrated platforms designed for enterprise-grade governance. On the other side, you have a collection of powerful but unmanaged components. Direct access to model APIs like OpenAI or open source frameworks like LangGraph. This path does offer flexibility, but it shifts the entire burden of integration, security, and compliance onto your engineering teams. It's the difference between buying a car and then buying the components of a car and trying to put them together. This critical issue with the component-based path is the cost, which is often hidden, but there are other costs that show up. Let's quantify the most immediate risk: data sovereignty. Let's be clear about the real-world cost of choosing the wrong path. In 2023, Meta was issued the largest fine in GDPR history, 1.2 billion euros. Crucially, this penalty wasn't for a sophisticated cyber attack or data breach. It was a fundamental failure of data governance, transferring and storing the data of their European users into the United States without correct legal safeguards. They were fined for doing exactly what many unmanaged direct-to-developer tools do by default. This case sets a stark precedent. It confirms that regulators are now targeting procedural data sovereignty with fines that can materially impact the business. Now, let's examine how the default settings of tools we discussed create precisely this risk profile for us. This is the slide that should concern your chief risk officer and general counsel. When your developers use these model APIs directly, your enterprise data is subject to their default policies, not yours. As you can see from the evidence, the defaults are not acceptable for a regulated enterprise, especially those that are operating in the European Union. Anthropic, for example, stores data at rest in the US and processes it globally by default. The direct Gemini API from Google offers no regional guarantees for data processing. The critical issue here is the deliberate ambiguity in the data processing terms. For a regulated entity, this is untenable. They make it impossible to provide a definitive, auditable answer to a regulator about where specific data has been processed. This ambiguity creates a compliance black hole. In short, using these tools directly means you lose control over where your data goes. You are outsourcing your data governance to a third party's default settings. This is an uninsurable risk. Fortunately, there is an enterprise-grade solution to this problem. The strategic solution is to reframe your approach from a tech-first approach to a compliance-first approach. Front-load the compliance work. The fundamental value of a hyperscaler platform is that it replaces dangerous ambiguity we just discussed with contractual certainty. You procure services with explicit region-locked endpoints. Data residency is not a hope. It's a configured, auditable parameter of the service. This is the governance fabric in practice. You are buying the enterprise-grade security, the audit trails, the residency controls. This enables the engineers to freely develop the enterprise-grade solutions without the compliance headaches. Now that we've established how these platforms de-risk the initiative, let's examine the two most powerful ways they accelerate value. Once you've bought the governance fabric, what tools do you have to build your intellectual property? This table shows the current landscape of proprietary models available on each platform. You can see the clear strategic alliances. Google's Vertex AI is the only home for its flagship Gemini models, while Microsoft Azure has exclusive hyperscaler access to the latest closed source models from OpenAI. But the most important column for our purposes is the last one. All three platforms provide a robust agentic software development kit. This is the toolkit your engineers will use to build the high-impact custom solutions that create differentiation for your enterprise. And this is the critical point. Because you have selected a platform with defined upfront governance, your teams can build with these powerful tools worry-free. The compliance, data residency, and security workloads have been done. Their focus shifts entirely from hardening the infrastructure to creating P&L impact, which is precisely where your best talent should be. An AI agent that cannot talk to your core systems is a science project, not a strategic lever. The single greatest accelerator for P&L impact is deep, reliable integration into systems of record. For example, SAP, or SharePoint, or Salesforce, or Workday. This is where hyperscalers have an insurmountable lead. As this slide shows, all major hyperscaler platforms have strong native pre-built connectors for core applications that run your business. Azure, through its Power Platform, leads with over 1,400 managed connectors. Crucially, the agentic software development kits underpinning these connectors are all built to enterprise standards, supporting robust protocols like A2A or MCP. Instead of spending months on brittle custom API work, your teams can connect an AI agent to your CRM, ERP, or any other internal base in days, securely and reliably. This dramatically accelerates your time to value. Beyond raw connectivity, the choice of platform allows you to precisely match your regulatory needs. So now that we've established how and why hyperscalers are helpful for developing AI agents for enterprise, the final question is how to implement this all. Most AI pilots fail to impact the P&L because they lack a disciplined operating model to connect strategy to execution. Our agentic AI blueprint closes that gap. It is an execution framework, not a theory. It uses a thin slice approach to deliver measurable KPI lift within 1 quarter with board-level governance and return on investment guardrails embedded from day one. It provides the operating rhythm to align your entire business behind the value realization of your AI agents. If you're serious about getting enterprise value from AI transformation, book a briefing to discuss your specific strategic path, or you can download the complete blueprint in the description to this video. Thank you.